On August 9th, 2014, a white police officer shot unarmed African-American teenager Michael Brown 6 times. Brown's lifeless body lay here in this street in the St. Louis, Missouri suburb of Ferguson for 4.5 hours. The killing set off weeks of protests. The local police, equipped with military gear, responded with overwhelming force.
It was like we were going back in time with the way that the police were treating people. The violation of rights, the dogs, the tanks, I was like, this isn't right.
Was the last straw when you went to the protests and you saw these cops who looked like RoboCop meets Rambo with their sniper rifles and their tanks?
Honestly, the murdering of Mike Brown was the last straw for me. I mean, he was the catalyst for all of this. The police brutality that followed upon a grieving people, that just worsened it.
Mike Brown was the spark, but the police, that's when the wood kept getting thrown in. It's still getting thrown in every single day for 64 days.
It's 2 months on from Brown's death, and activists from across the country have gathered in St. Louis to call for a grand jury to indict Darren Wilson, the police officer who shot him.
Well, this is the biggest march to date. Thousands of marchers heading down to a historic courtyard here. The vibe's pretty electric.
Dubbed Ferguson October, this weekend of protests are different than the ones that erupted in August. Lots of demonstrators are from out of town. Many aren't African American. The police are on their best behavior, and there's no military gear in sight. But one thing has remained constant over the past 2 months.
And you guys all look beautiful. My God, you all look beautiful. Thank you all for coming to stand in solidarity with us.
Alexis, Brittany, and an emergent generation of leaders like them.
We get all these young people on these front lines to get out here and protest, for their right to live, their human right to protest. And we get arrested, and we get maced, and we get tear gassed, and we get rubber bulleted. And yet, I've been arrested 3 times. I have spent more time in jail than Darren Wilson, and it's ridiculous. We are sick of it. We are tired.
Alexis is Ferguson born and raised. Brittany grew up in St. Louis but went to high school in Ferguson before pursuing a degree in nursing. She was supposed to graduate from St. Louis University next spring.
I've recently pulled out of school because of this situation.
Why?
My heart is here right now. My heart is in the fight for humanity. I'm a natural caregiver, a natural nurturer. While I love nursing, my career choice would do me no good if I knew people were out here being gunned down and their lives were being taken from them.
I'm a sophomore in college. I go to the University of Missouri, St. Louis. No, I did not know her before this happened. We met on the ground. Our organization, Millennial Activists United, originated on this ground, which is amazing.
Millennial Activists United formed quickly after Mike Brown's death. Maybe a dozen people, mostly young women. They've organized relentlessly for 2 months, contributing to this weekend of action.
After a day of marching, multiple events, people are here outside the Ferguson Police Department. There was a long period of silence, utter silence. But now things are ramping up a little bit and there's a bit of a buzz, both in the air with the choppers spinning around and the people on the ground.
For many here from the St. Louis area, justice for Mike Brown is a personal issue. Michael Johnson says he's been out every day since the killing.
Spud, why are you here?
I'm here because when I was 18 years old, the police shot me 3 times in my back until I had a gun. I didn't have a gun. They blew my stomach out. They blew shot my whole hip off. I got a fake hip, and they said I had a gun, and I pointed, I shot at them. I didn't have no gun. I didn't have any of that.
Why do they fear you so much?
I don't know, but because they in their car and they ride around the neighborhood like a zookeeper, and then we the animals and they the zookeeper. I think because they want us to fight back. They want a war. This is what I see, because it keep happening.
But despite the events that have led people here, tonight's protest feels like a party. And as Alexis and Brittany arrive, they work to refocus the crowd.
We're finna change the narrative out here, man. We're finna get this together. We came to the police department and we showed up and they had a DJ. That's not what this is. You know, and even when we got out there, like when somebody spoke to me, like I could smell the liquor on them and I'm just like, why are you out here? I mean, you may not be drunk, but you're tipsy, go home. We don't get tipsy from Mike Brown. Y'all not in the right headspace right now, but let me help you. We gonna get there together because somebody gotta get us there. So let's get there. And we did that. We went out there and we changed the narrative. And once we did, you know, it was beautiful. It was amazing. I'll do that every night if I have to. Every night.
I think there has been an association between being black and being dangerous. The other night, I told the cops, I'm a woman, I'm a human. I am black, but I'm not dangerous. When your skin is melanated so heavily, they look at you and they assume that you are dangerous. If you're a man and you're big, like Mike Brown, especially when you're agitated, you deserve to die. You can't be black and be angry.
Another memorial erected for another black teenager killed by a police officer in St. Louis just a few days before. Police said Vonderrit Myers Jr. was armed when he was shot.
My son was not an animal. He belonged to me, and he was loved. He made mistakes in life, but he still didn't deserve the right to have his life taken from him.
Whatever it is y'all want to do, I'm fine with it. You know what I'm saying? If y'all want to march or whatever it is y'all want to do, I'm good with it. I'm going to be out here with you guys.
But for his parents and many others here, he is another casualty of a system that marginalizes, criminalizes, and too often destroys young black men.
I feel like it's important to not only talk about how Mike Brown was gunned down and he was unarmed and he was left in the street for 4 hours, and how the police have used excessive force on the citizens who were grieving and who were mourning at the death of this child, but also how this systematic oppression has led to the devaluation of lives all over.
And right now we're going to have 4 minutes of silence for Vonderrit Myers.
A few hours later, a day of civil disobedience begins. Religious leaders start things off. Marching with them is author and activist Dr. Cornel West. When they attempt to cross a police line, some are symbolically arrested, an act of solidarity with the young people who faced arrest in the nighttime streets of Ferguson.
This is beautiful. This is amazing. I support every single one of y'all, man. Thank you.
Hey, you want to help lead us back?
We have to get to our action. We're late. At first, the clergy and the people were bumping heads, left and right, you know, and somehow the clergy just got it together. Because we kept trying to tell them to step back. You know, they wanted to lead, they wanted to be at the forefront, and let's pray and do this and this. And we're like, no, stop. We don't want you to do that. We just want you to be here and not say nothing. And somehow the clergy was like, we just need to get behind the young people and uplift them. And they did.
We're seeing the passing of the torch, especially black leadership. But I think it's just a magnificent thing to see black women's leadership on the ground, grassroots leadership. And it's partly because they just brilliant, talented, courageous, visionary, like any other great leadership, and that some of the patriarchal limitations are being pushed back. And to me, that's a joyful thing to witness.
I encourage you to see the humanity in everyone. See the humanity in each other.
In the afternoon, Brittany, Alexis, and the Millennial Activists United crew are taking their call for justice for Mike Brown to an upscale and mostly white shopping mall in St. Louis.
Before we go, we just want to say it in a silent chant. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love and support each other. We have nothing to lose but our dreams. Thank y'all so much. Y'all look beautiful. If Mike don't get it, shut it down. If Mike don't get it, shut it down. Black Lives Matter.
They're quickly intercepted by police and allow themselves to be escorted outside, trying to avoid arrests.
Shut it down. To the street. We have to fight back. 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 Fight back.
They're not allowed to protest in here? Private property. Okay.
As it comes to an end, Alexis and Brittany review the weekend's events.
Did you see the amount of police officers?
Yeah. We're going through our footage.
Okay.
And we hear one shot. Kill Darren Wilson.
Yeah, we don't really like that chant.
We don't say that chant.
How do we want him? How do we want him? He left Mike Brown? So how do we want him?
When you have that happening at the protests, isn't it going to undermine what you're trying to do?
That's why we don't like
That's why we don't say it. When you're chanting, you're the leader at that moment. You are speaking on behalf of this group. So when you say you want to kill Darren Wilson as a leader, you have to think about, you have to realize that you're basically saying that that's everybody's mindset at that moment. And you can't speak on me. Of course we all want justice, but like we said, justice looks different for everybody.
What would justice be?
If they stop killing us.
And in this specific case?
Stop trying to protect Darren Wilson, the officer, and charge him for murdering that child. That's justice. That's justice for Mike Brown, because he didn't have to be killed.
And an indictment would be the first step to that.
It would. Do I think it's going to happen? No.
As the date of the grand jury's decision draws closer and people across the United States watch Ferguson for reaction to the news when it comes, Alexis and Brittany remain committed to a struggle they know has just begun.
This is how it has to be until it's over, because if my energy dies and if my passion dies and if her energy dies and her passion dies, we don't have a movement anymore.
It's a fight. It's a heavy burden. We're tired. We're exhausted. But we keep fighting because we do think that we're going to win. And we have to. We have to. I don't think this generation is going to drop the ball on this.
I know that we will win. I know that we will win. I know that we will win. I know that we will win.
Want more? Download the AJ Plus mobile app and join the conversation. Available in your app store now.